Hey! Okay, welcome to the second edition, second show of Soul Inspector. Man, we are having problems with Facebook. I don't know what they're doing out there. They were messing with me last night on the Experience the Galaxy show with Nate Campbell, and it's messing with us today, so we have to push the YouTube stream out onto Soul Inspector on the Facebook website. So if you're watching us on Facebook, I don't know why it's not streaming out there. I don't know if they banned us from a bad song or something. We finally got copyright-free music playing on here now, so hopefully they're not gonna mess with us on this. But it's our second show. You'd think we'd have it worked out now after doing 200 Experience the Galaxy shows, but problems never end. I got my man Marino on the TV production today, as usual. And we actually do have our stuff together today for the investigation we did at 1313 Newcastle Street, which is owned by Sal Senecola. And next week, hopefully, I'm going to have Kenny on via Skype. I got to get him a computer and a decent webcam to get him on here, so he'll be my regular co-host. But today on our Super Bowl special, a little bit early, we're going to go back over the stuff that happened at 1313 Newcastle Street, which, by the way, is the former Bijou Theater in Brunswick, Georgia, as you can see on this postcard. This was online. Somebody had this postcard from... it's an actual postcard that's signed by somebody. It was kind of cool. I don't have the back up there, but somebody actually sent this postcard, and it's dated... I think it's dated in the 1940s. So you can see the Bijou Theater there on the left. I'm not even sure what the configuration of this place was, being that the building next door burned down, and I don't know if they were connected or how the whole thing, it's difficult to see if there was two buildings right next to each other, but the parking lot next door is where the other building was. So in that postcard you can't really see it, and there doesn't seem to be any other photos of the Bijou Theater, although there was a lot of stuff talking about it. I had some people react on the YouTube page that one guy reacted and said that we should go down to the pub down the street, that all the buildings are haunted, and I totally believe that, because this place was clearly as haunted a place as we've ever gone to. I'm going to just show you the introduction to the beginning and then just talk about that. Play me on clip one.
All right, we're here at 13.
Okay, there's no audio on there, so it's playing by itself. What is it? 3 minutes? 2 minutes? I can't see it.
It's 2.
2 minutes.
Can they not hear us?
Right, they can't hear us.
Okay.
Cannot hear us. You can always check it by just going to the audio right here. Right click, and then the audio, and see which ones are checked. See the video itself, that's the only audio that's playing.
Oh.
Yeah, the other thing is you got to watch out if you put the headphones in and the sound is coming. This probably isn't a problem because it's getting only the sound from there, so it's probably not a problem.
Inside, about 4,100 square feet. This building was featured in part of the movie Live by Night that you were in.
But if you do this with the microphone on, it loops and then it makes an echoing sound.
Yeah.
You can see it echo on the bar too. You'll see it go
Oh, really?
every time
We're
there's
here
a
because
sound.
we think it's haunted. This used to be a silent movie theater back in the 1920s. It's just read up on it. We don't know what's in here. You ever had any feelings or vibes or anything in here?
I've been here. I bought the building at 2004,
And as soon as it comes out, just come right back to me.
The attics, the eaves, and all this stuff. I found dead bats. I I mean, there's things there, and I've heard noises, and like I said, I know this building pretty well.
Well, we're going to check out this, and then the building next door, which I don't know what this was now. This building is totally abandoned and it's halfway gutted, but we can get into it from the back. So I just walked in there for a preview, and I got halfway up the middle of this thing. And you know that feeling, Kenny. Yeah, we're at 1313 Newcastle Street. This is going to be our first replay on the first episode of Soul Inspector. I'm with Sal and Kenny on the 27th. We're doing our broadcast, so we're going to show this whole investigation on Soul Inspector at soulinspector.com, LDL Paranormal. I might even sneak a little link on salsenecola.com so you can see it. But we're going to go inside, Sal. Let's see what's cooking.
Hey, you know what else is unique about this? Wasn't there another famous address called 1313?
Yeah, well,
Mockingbird Lane.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's go in, Sal. Let's see.
Okay, so that was the beginning of the video there, where we were just kind of showing the front of the building, and Sal's giving you like a brief history of it. It had a building next door. I'm not even sure how it's configured. So well, we had some pictures of it. I guess I took them down. I take the pictures down. You can Google search on the open website. Don't move it around. Just Google search 1313 Newcastle Street and then hit the pictures, and you'll see the pictures of the inside of it. So the first floor has 3 or 4 rooms that were A.G. Edwards was using, kind of office rooms. In the front, it's got kind of a lobby area, and I'm going to put it up there right now. Yeah, right up here. Wait a second. Up at Brunswick. Oops. Type in Brunswick there, and then there you go. It's right there. Okay. And so, there's various pictures here. So let's just take a look at them over on the split screen here. Okay. So this is the actual front of the building here. You can see. I don't know when this is Coldwell Banker. This is probably a few years ago when it was Coldwell Banker. I don't know if Sal owned it then or when it was. But the inside, you can see this is one of the rooms that they were repairing. I don't even know which room this is right there we're looking at, Marino. Which one? Is that on the second floor?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Is that the haunted room, the one that we were in? That had a door in the back? I thought it didn't have a door.
No, this one was next to the carpeted room.
Oh, this is the one in the front. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the one that you're looking at right here faces the front of the building. So when you're looking at the building right here, that room is the one on the right where the windows are facing out. So that room didn't have a lot of activity in it, but the back upstairs room was the really haunted one. So we got definitely a number of voices. The most voices that we received were on the first floor. We're in the back bathroom. There's a bathroom way in the back there, very small, but it was that's where most of the voices showed up. I had the thing, I had this feeling like underneath my shoe in one of the rooms, the second to last room, where it felt like somebody was pushing up on it. It was really kind of weird. It was a different feeling. And then the next EVP I got said it was piece of gum. Yeah, it was a pretty cool EVP. So, I don't know how relative they are, but, when you really pull these EVPs apart like we're doing it, and then you watch it in totality, right? Where, that's when we watched it on the TV in totality, you sort of get this vibe and this feeling that that they're communicating with you in a series of words and phrases that sort of mean something. Now, the upstairs room in that office is I don't know if it's a bad entity or a good entity, but we got some really weird EVPs up there. But when I first walked up, there's something about this building. This is one of those investigations where you just keep getting names of people. I got first and last names for some of these people. I got this I got this incredible EVP that says, what's the lady's name? Did I say it was? It was
Jessica Prayer.
Not Jessica. It was Veronica Prayer. Was it? I don't know. I'm going to play it. It's in clip 1 here. And check this out, because we walked upstairs, and as soon as I got upstairs, I'll tell you quite honestly, I don't know whether it was a feeling of there was something up there, or it was just, it smelled differently, because it smelled, it was actually kind of a pleasant smell on the second floor. I don't know, what was that smell? It was like
The wood.
the wood, was it maybe? The wood?
Yeah.
I don't know, it had a different smell, so it kind of overwhelmed me a little bit. But you'll see in this where I put my hand on my chest like this, and I was kind of, when I breathed in, there was a definite feeling going on. So I don't know what it was, but check this out in clip 1. That when we first got upstairs. Vanessa prayer.
These videos are much better.
Yeah, way better. Yeah, so you can see there was some stuff going on right away as soon as we got upstairs. That Vanessa prayer, that's a really clear voice that we got. I find those voices where they say somebody's name really cool. Now, just for those of you that don't know what we're doing, we're using a PSB7 device. Would you grab it right over there in the box, Marino? PSB7 is just all it is an AM/FM radio that scans through the channels and creates this white noise, and it creates white noise, and then it creates sometimes like these, when it's going by a radio station. Now the antenna is out of it, but when it goes by a radio station that will, the faint signal of the radio station, it creates this kind of blob of a noise. And some people will say, well, you're just hearing the radio station. Well, that's the experiment that I've done is I've actually played a radio station and then scanned this at the same time and then played them back in sync, and the sound that it hits when it hits the actual radio station that it's on, or the remnant of the radio station, should be the same as whatever the voice is or the music or something like that. But the thing is that's not what comes through on it. It's not the same thing. Something different comes on. There's some phenomenon happening with it. It's a very simple device. You can get it online, PSB7. There's a guy named Gary Gulka who runs the company that created this device. He was on Ghost Adventures at one time. They did a show on him. His daughter died, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, and he created this device. He had stuff happening in his house, and he's an electrical engineer that creates devices that are measurement devices, EMF detectors and stuff that's for real life use, like electricians and stuff like this. And I don't know how he came up with this, but the idea sometimes was that people heard stuff in their cars when they were changing channels. That's how it came about, or at least that's how I heard it came about. But anyways, we piped this through a pretty major league amplifier, and I, 8 years ago or 7 years ago when we first did it, I was completely skeptical. It's just like, how could there be any, how could you have any sound? We put a couple things together. You take this device, you record it. You don't always hear the sound when you're live. Sometimes you do, occasionally, like 1 out of 20. But then you take it back and you edit the video, and you slow the video down. And then lately, the last year or so, I've been using an editor that has sound reduction, and the sound reduction is specifically for noise, wind removal. If you go outside and record a video with wind blowing, it's like that. This particular reduction, and they've gotten pretty good in these editors, it does a lot of really cool digital stuff. It removes that wind sound. Coincidentally, when you're using this, the white noise that it creates, it reduces the white noise and gives you somewhat of an isolation of the voices that we believe that we're hearing, or at least, you know, the sounds that are coming. I'll say that they're sounds because I don't know if they're voices or what they are. You know, I'm the first person to tell you. I don't know what it is. It's a phenomenon, and it's pretty cool. But sometimes it makes sense, and it does stuff like, you know, our first investigation with Biscup. We heard that EVP, which I don't have it up there on the. I think I took it down, but it was the first one. And it turns out there was a guy named Biscup that lived in the house and died in 1911. Got killed or disappeared or something happened to him. We had Laverne Torno was our Florida Gen Web expert. She's a historian, and she does real stuff. She doesn't just sit on the internet. She goes to the towns and digs up the microfiche files and whatever records they have and actually looks it up, and she did it for me. And we discovered that this voice that was really crystal clear that said Biscup, it was no question about it, was a guy that lived there. So, you know, you can come to a lot of conclusions, but it's pretty ironic that the voice that you hear on this thing that's super clear that says Biscup happens to be a guy named Michael Biscup who disappeared in the house in 1911 under pretty suspicious circumstances. But anyways, so we've been using this for a long time. This is actually the original one that I have. It runs on AAA batteries. You can see it scanned. Let me just turn it on. It actually has a speaker in it that's not very good, but they were smart enough to put an output on this thing so that you could output it to a speaker. Now these guys like Ghost Adventures, they just use a small little handheld speaker, but in this you'll see me carrying around a giant speaker, big speaker, that really gives you tremendous sound and a tremendous frequency range. And some of these, these voices they're just weird. I mean, they're weird and they're scary. But the ones that say, actual names, like there was this person named Vanessa Prayer. I looked her up. She's some girl in Georgia. She's 32 years old. I didn't feel like creeping her out and writing her. But this isn't the first time I've gotten a voice with a very distinct voice with a name, saying the name for whatever reason. Who knows? Who knows what the reason of it, but it's just pretty interesting. On this particular one at Sal's, at 1313, there are a number of voices, first and last names that came. There was I'll show it in the next clip, but they're really distinct names. And here's the other thing too, just realize what's going on here when we're doing this. There's an awful lot of interpretation. Now, first of all, I'm using I got a studio in here with really good headsets, $500 headsets, that let me hear what you might not hear if you're watching this on your phone or on your speakers on your computer or something like that. So I have a pretty good shot at it. And most of these EVPs, I don't just listen to it once. Some of them I listen to 20 or 30 times. And weird things can happen too, because you're interpreting what you think you're hearing, and the sound is coming through white noise. And so if you're listening to it on your speaker, on your cell phone or something like that, and it's not as clear as if you had, I recommend highly that you put a set of headphones on and listen to it, and you may or may not come to the same conclusion of the voice that I do. But I've edited now approximately a couple of thousand EVPs. Some of them say the same thing over and over again. It's pretty amazing. I keep getting this word purple over and over again. I haven't figured out what that is. I don't know what the significance of the word purple is, but I've heard that in many, many investigations. We've done 68 recorded investigations and over 100 just some unrecorded and other stuff. I try to always keep a recorder on no matter what you do, because you never know what you're going to hear. So I keep multiple recorders on too. Some of these I go to with 3 or 4 cameras, and the cameras have different levels of microphones on them. The best microphone I've ever seen is on the cameras that you're watching me on. This camera right up here and this camera. They're JVC HD7U. They're 1080 cameras. They're one of the first 1080 cameras that JVC came out with. They're very reliable cameras. They have a hard drive in them, but they have a fantastic microphone. It's actually better microphone. I've got a brand new Canon XF300 on my #1 camera feed. That's the feed we're on right now, which is a really good, high quality camera, 1080. But the microphone isn't great. It's not as good as the JVC microphone for picking up these sounds. And you're just picking up the sound that's coming back through the speaker. And occasionally when you turn the white noise off from the SP7, you're picking up over the air stuff. And those are the voices that really kind of send a chill up my spine when you hear. Now the XF 100 300 camera that's right here, it's a $4,000 or $5,000 camera. That one does not have night vision on it. And I don't know, the ghost shows essentially use the night vision for affect on it. You're in the dark and it also kind of enhances what you think you're hearing when you're there. It doesn't seem to make a big difference to me, whether you're in daylight or you have lights in the room or not. The voices are still the same. White Springs proved that clearly. The lights were on in there. We turned the lights off for part of it, but we had the lights on and the voices were just as active. So I don't know what the whole light thing is. But anyways, we have a Canon XF 100 that does have, it's a lower model of this XF 300 camera. It's an HD camera, really good, great lens and everything. But the microphone isn't as good as the JVCs. I'm going to have to get a mounted microphone, like a really good Sennheiser microphone. But the more fidelity you have, the better it is. And also, the more fidelity you have with the output speaker, the better it is. Clearly, I've learned that you got to plug a big studio speaker into these things to get the full bandwidth of what's coming out of this box. If you just use the smaller, like those little Altec Lansing speakers, they're decent, but they're not quite as good as carrying. You can't always go places and carry that giant speaker around. It weighs like 20 pounds or 10 pounds or something. But I did it at Sal's, and it's pretty good. I just was a little disappointed with the microphone on the Canon cameras, but we're gonna go back. What I showed here was just part 1, which was really the first hour of it. I'm gonna edit this week and next week part 2, which is the rest of upstairs and that room in the back that was really kind of haunted. I think there's something definitely creepy going on there, because it gave me the appearance of something like touching me on the back of the leg. Now what it felt like was it pushed the pant leg in. Now I've had this stuff happen before, and that's the kind of stuff that is really convincing to me that there's something going on. There's something a little more going on than just voices on this thing. I was in Lori Dawn Langdon's house in Deerfield Beach, and she'd had the sensation of somebody touching the back of her ears, and it actually happened to me not once but twice on camera, and it really freaked me out because there was other people in the room, and I turned around and thought somebody touched me, and it just touched me in the back of the ear. So when that stuff happens to you, it's pretty cool. It's a validation. What it is, I don't know. Is it a person? Is it the remnants of a person? And is it an energy? I don't know. I'm the first person to tell you. You know as much as I do. Anybody that's watching this, I'll accept anybody's explanation for what it is. But it is pretty cool, and that's what we're investigating. And we're getting the same things over and over again. So we're getting the same voices, get some of the same words. That word purple comes through. In the very first investigation, we got a name that said Christy. Now, I know some Christies in my life, and I don't know if it has anything to do with any of them. But that voice, the name Christy has come through a bunch of times. It came through in White Springs. It's come through on at least 10 or 12 other investigations. The word purple has come through a million times. And the other thing that comes through always, since I've been bringing Marino on these, is Marino's name. That thing comes through like crazy, especially in our house in Coral Springs. Remember?
Yeah.
It used to come through all the time. It was Marino. It was like relentless. Something going on there too. So, but we've done, like I said, we've done over 100 investigations, about 60 of them on YouTube. Go to our YouTube page. The quickest way to go to is LDLParanormal.com. I've got the whole link to our YouTube page that's sorted all of the paranormal videos out into one group, so you can see them. They're pretty cool. You can see the progression of how we've done stuff from the beginning to now. We're getting a little bit better at it. My editing skills are getting a lot better. And it never ceases to amaze me, the stuff that we hear, because it's just like, you get this video, and I can tell now when we're doing the investigations, that the voices are good. Rarely can I understand what they say. You'll hear on these videos that we do, sometimes we're sort of validating what we hear, and then you replay it, and it's validated because you slow it down. Now, when you're hearing the replay of these, I'm taking the clip, and I can see it in the editor. I can see the sound wave in the editor. So I clip on either side of it and in the timeline. And then I drop it and I slow the time down. I slow it down from 90 to down to sometimes 60%. I got a pretty good idea when I listen to them now what to slow it down to, but I experiment with it sometimes, because sometimes too slow is not good. It distorts what's being said, and I'll replay it a couple times till I have it where I think the voice is coming through at the speed it's supposed to come through. And that's part of the phenomenon, is it always seems to be a little faster than a human voice. That's the other thing about why, if you're going to be a skeptic and say, hey, you're just hearing radio noise and it might be a voice on the radio, the problem is people don't talk really fast on the radio. Sometimes they do, but they don't speak 30 or 40% faster than a normal person speaks. And when you tape record somebody's voice speaking at regular time and slow it down, it's really easy to distinguish, especially when an EVP comes over the top of us talking in the investigation, and you slow the thing down. Then you can hear my voice, which goes Marino, like that, and it's far lower. And then you hear the EVP voice, and it's at regular speed. That's where you can tell that it's not the radio. It's not voices coming over the radio. The other thing too is we've taken the antenna out. You can see here, I literally, these came with an antenna. I physically removed the antenna. You can see right there, maybe. We'll put it on this camera. Let me see. This camera. Okay. Right there, you can see the antenna hole. These originally, they came with an antenna. I removed the antenna, and then I took the circuit board and I unsoldered the wire that attached to it, and I unsoldered it. So the only thing that is, as far as an antenna on here, is the metal that's on the circuit board. So it doesn't pick up things very well. You can't even really tune in a radio station with this. But and you can see, I'm gonna just run it here and see if you can actually hear it, so you can just hear what goes on here. Let me see. So it gives you a cool little display. Right now it's on FM, and you can see in the 76 range there aren't even any FM stations till you get to 88. So, and then you can sweep it forward or backwards, and you can hear it. And then you can actually hear some voices right there. This is the little speaker that's on it, which is not very good. It's not real great. Okay, and you can see it. You can see it actually scanning through there. Let me just see if I can get that. Okay, you can see it scanning through. I got it set at 100 milliseconds, so it's 100 milliseconds. It's changing a tenth of a megahertz. Or is that? Yeah, that's megahertz on FM frequency modulation. It's a tenth of a megahertz, so you can see it. And this one, you can't hear. The speaker's not very good on this device, and it doesn't need to be, because, like I said, it's got an output right here where you can output to a speaker, but that's all it is, and it's created this phenomenon that we've been recording now, and I just it's pretty cool. That's what led to this show that we're doing and these investigations. Hey, listen, if you don't, I don't say that I believe or I necessarily know that it is people or spirit voices or something like that. It's just an easy explanation for people to wrap their head around, because and some people have said it at some point during these, on my YouTube page, because I've got over 2,000 subscribers and a couple of million hits now on my videos, and that by far I have boxing videos and other stuff on there, but there's way tons of comments from people that are skeptics. And I say to them, hey, listen, whatever you're saying could be true, and whatever I'm saying could be true. It's just easier for people, I guess, in their mind to say, hey, something's happening after they die. And I say to them, if you're thinking that I'm doing this because I'm trying to prove that there's life after death, I'm not finding it a whole lot of comforting thought is to be hanging around in somebody's house for the next 300 years, floating around, waiting for an idiot like me to show up with an SB7 so I can speak with them. Okay, so it's not a pleasant thought to think that you're going to be hanging around, or the remnants of your spirit are going to be hanging around a room forever. So it's not always the most comforting thought. But I'll tell you this. When somebody gets really serious about doing investigations, scientists get really serious about that, they're going to figure out that there's probably something going on.
My thoughts are, since energy can't be destroyed or created, it'll just be transferred into a new form.
Right, that's a theory that a lot of people subscribe to, is that you can't destroy energy, it can only change its form. And that's hit. I was reading something the other day that was talking about there's a part of the brain that they actually call the soul. I forgot the name of it, but it's way deep in the back of your brain, and that's where the deepest thoughts, and they think that that's where the most energy is, and that's what makes up your soul. And so this phenomenon happens, and it's pretty cool to listen to. I mean, it's, if people say, "Well, you're crazy, you believe in this," or something like that. It's not. I don't believe that I know what it is, but I believe my own ears because I'm doing this. I'm the one editing this stuff. I am interpreting it. Yes, I'm interpreting these voices. But I'll tell you one thing. Computers now can translate voices to text, and I put a couple of these EVPs through these translators, and they translate some of these EVPs exactly as I interpret them. So I'm not saying that the computer believes in what's going on. I'm just saying that the computer is able to interpret the sound that I'm hearing as a voice and a word and convert it to text, and that happens. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But I want to play for you the what are we on? We're going to be on clip 3. Clip 3 is going to be kind of the scariest part of this investigation itself. So we're in totality, when I look at the voices that I interpreted on there, it sounds like there's some stuff going on. Now, people have all these theories about demonic entities and all that stuff. I don't know what's a demonic entity or not. If demonic entities are anything like people, there are bad people and there are good people. Okay, and if your soul is transmitted into energy after you die, well, then a bad person is not going to be probably a good person in that afterlife, and then it's interpreted as demonic or a demon. But you get these words that say devil or demon or something like that in these EVPs, and it's a little bit chilling, to say the least, when you hear these, especially if you were in the room. And this is when the thing, I felt something on the back of my calf. I don't what it was. I don't know. Was it someone that was in energy of somebody pushing something? No, I know I felt it. What it was, I don't know. But in this, you can actually see in the video where the indentation in my pants were it pushed in. It looks like a crease, but that where we focused on is where I felt whatever it was. So let's go to clip 3. This is in the back of 1313 Newcastle Street, where it's kind of it's a room that's, I don't know, maybe it's 10 by 13 or 14 foot room. It's on the second floor and it faces the back, but that's where we had the most activity. Here, I'm going to play that clip right now.
And also, might I add, listen to the voices and try to see if they're all connected, because you can get a cool story.
Yeah, good point there, because if you listen to them in the totality of this clip, you kind of get this vibe of what might be going on there. It seems like multiple entities we're talking about. We'll play it right now and let you listen to it. Jim Nebraska.
Stairs that are here on the second floor. My name is John Scott, owns the building. Whoa. Oh.
How long is this clip?
It's pretty long. It's 7 minutes. I was wondering if I was going to get stopped or not.
Yep.
No, I just turned off.
No, I want to hear it.
Wow, what was that? Who was that I just walked?
Is this
right
clip
there?
3?
Yep.
What's your name?
You might have connected both clip 2.
Oh, I did.
That's probably why it's so long.
Are you here in the theater? Did you hang out in the theater here? There it is. Yeah, I got the dividing rods here. I want you to take them both and point them right at me. Spin them around and point them right at me. Keep going. Point them right at me. Keep going. Keep pushing. Point them right, both right at me. Push them with your spirit. Push them with your energy right towards me. Right towards me. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Right there. Stop it. Now move the other one. No. Come back. Okay. How many spirits are in here right now? 4? Real clear. Do you know what the name of this theater is? Say your name of what it was in 1920. Purple and yellow? Bijou. Bijou? I believe that's what I heard.
What?
I'm gonna get 4 clip.
Whoa, what was that? That was a sentence. That was a great 2-3 words. How many spirits were in this room? Okay, I got 0.3 milligauss on here, so I got something walking around right in front of me. I feel a little chill right here in the middle of the room. It's I got goosebumps. It's coming back. 0.2, 0.2. That's making the meter go off right here. Wow, 0.4, 0.5. Look at that. Look at that. That's the highest we've ever gotten this meter to. Wow. 0.5. What is your name that's standing right in front of me?
Kevin Voight.
Hey, can you tell me your name? Are you a man or a woman? 0.7. It's getting stronger. Are you a male or female? What was your job here?
You know my father. You know my father.
Start to go down. Start to go down. Start to go down.
Does anybody know my father? Or my mother?
blurry? This camera keeps going blurry. That's because it's hitting something. Is it focused right now? Yep. Who keeps walking in front of the camera? What's your name? I can see you. You're walking by our meter here. Just walking right around the wheel. Repeat it. Good voices there. Thank you for talking to us. We welcome your talk. We welcome hearing from you, all of you. How many spirits are in this room with us right now, please? Those are good boys. Did you used to watch movies in this theater?
Do you have a thing up there with the phone number on it? It's coming back here in a minute.
1-7. Wow, something's leaning up against the back of my leg. Look at the thing. Right here on my left leg. On my left leg, it's pushing up against my pants. Right here. It's right there. It's pushing on the back of my pants. It's got 1.1. Yeah, who is that pushing on the back of my pants? That's high. It's 1.1. We're going to look at it and see what's going on. It's not pushing anymore, but it was. It was pushing the pant like that. 1.0. Hey, what's your name is pushing on my pant leg?
The devil.
Shit. Something just walked.
Okay. Come on. Okay, so we sorry about that. That clip, the front end was the one that you'd just seen before, but you could see the second half of the clip was the back of that room, which was really pretty scary stuff. It was scary. In retrospect, it was scary. Didn't seem too scary when we were up there, right, Marino? It was fairly calm. You can call in the show right now if you want. 904-302-7220. Phone number's right there on the right over there. You can see. We're right there. 904-302-7220 is the number. We got a Skype line. We can take your calls if you want to call in. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Ustream, and next week I'm going to try to go on Periscope, but you could see the feeds on soulinspector.com, LDL Paranormal.com. We're having a lot of trouble with the Facebook pages right now. For some reason, it won't let us pay. I don't know if if they banned us for using the copyrighted music or something like that. I bought copyright-free music, and it still flagged us, so Facebook likes to put you in Facebook jail for a little bit, but we're able to at least post the link back on Facebook if you're watching right now. We're doing like a pre-Super Bowl. I guess the Super Bowl's coming on a little bit, so we're going to wrap it up in a couple minutes. But our sponsors are Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. You can grab a bottle today at southerngourmetspice.com. It's the best stuff. I've been talking about it for years. Put it on your ribs, put it on your chicken, put it on your salad. You can put it anywhere. It works. And my man Sal's neighborhood pizzeria and ristorante Italiano. That's Sal right there, man, back in the day when he was about 25 years old. But Sal runs the best restaurant. Not only does he have a haunted warehouse, he runs the best restaurant in South Georgia, anywhere south of the Mason-Dixon line as far as I'm concerned with the pizza. He's in St. Simons. Look him up, salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com. Best pizza in the world. We're going to be going back to Sal's to 1313 Newcastle Street. Sal was really interested after he heard all these voices. He wants to find out exactly who's in there and what's in there. Now we're armed with some of these voices, but you heard the first and last names on some of these EVPs that we got were incredible. Pretty cool. I mean, investigation was unique in that it's gotten the most first and last name, distinct first and last names. And it was a public place. It was a movie theater for many, many years, like 50 or 60 years or something, or maybe more. And it was the only entertainment in the house. They didn't have TV, so a lot of people went through those doors, through that building. Obviously, it was, it was an entertainment type of place. Movies, had a small playhouse. I don't know if it had live theater or what it had in there, but it definitely had silent movies and other kinds of movies. And so a lot of people went through those doors for many, many, many years. So we've noticed that any kind of building that has lots of people going through it, good or bad, hospitals, clinics, churches, movie theaters, playhouses, stuff like that, seem to have lots of spirits that kind of hang around there. And this is no exception. But 2 more weeks we're going to go back there to the former Bijou Theater, and we're going to do a little bit more of an investigation. We're going to walk right down Newcastle Street too, and with our spirit box, and see if we can get some voices in front of these other buildings that are on there, because the buildings are pretty cool. If you take a look at them, they just look haunted. They look haunted because they're old. But the building next door, Sal didn't want us to go in it, but I think I'm going to sneak in there when he's not. It's abandoned, and it's kind of hollowed out. Right next door, it's literally attached to his building. You can see it in the video in the beginning. And it's hollowed out. It was I don't know if it was a drugstore, and I don't know what the other one was. Sal claims it was a brothel, and, who knows what it was.
In the postcard, you can see that it's still made out of brick.
Yeah, you can. Okay, so right underneath that Bijou Theater sign, you can see the 2 brick buildings next to it. Those buildings are still there. It's the one that looks brick, and then there's another one that looks like stone. But then after that, those buildings after that are gone. But the 2 that look like they're brick right next to the Bijou, those are still there. They're still standing, but they're in bad shape. I mean, they're gutted. The floors are dirt, and the walls are just, the brick walls are there. The front has a construction wood over the front of it to keep people out of it, but the back is wide open. You can go to it, and it's pretty cool. I don't know what was in there. I have to do a little research to find out, but it was definitely the vibe and the voices. When I edit this week, you're going to see us. We walked behind there, and we got a significant amount of voices from behind the 1313 Newcastle and the buildings next door. There was quite a few voices there. So we're going to edit that up next week, and we'll have that on next week's edition of Soul Inspector. You guys can call in the show. You can email us. The links are on soulinspector.com. You can send us an email if you got questions, or you got video or stuff you want to share or something like that. Hopefully our Facebook page will be out of Facebook jail next week, and we'll be able to broadcast on it. But if not, you'll see us on YouTube, Ustream, and possibly Periscope if we can't do it on Facebook. But for everybody here at Soul Inspector, Marino, his pet bearded dragon there, Flacco, who's doing the production with him.
It's Gordita.
Gordita's doing the production. We'll be on next week at the regular time of 7:00, and we will hopefully we'll have some footage of the second half of the investigation at 1313 Newcastle Street in Brunswick, Georgia. Boy, that was some cool stuff. We're going to go do some more stuff too in Brunswick. I want to find some more haunted places. We're going to go back to Christchurch. I'm going to go back and bother Frederick Osborne at the lighthouse, since he's pretty angry with me when I go there. But it's always a good time there because the voices show up. And next week we'll be looking at part 2. But enjoy the videos. They're on LDLTV Live on YouTube. You can see the full link on LDLParanormal.com and SoulInspector.com, and our various pages on Facebook, LDLTV, LDL Paranormal. And I don't have a page for Soul Inspector yet because everything's going through LDL Paranormal. But check it out on there. Check out our videos. Check out the contributions of other people. And just keep searching for the truth.